Good evening. Tonight I'm going to speak to the world about the chiefs and the people of the Agotime traditional area in the Volta region. My name is Elvis Ativoe. I'm a native of Agotime and I speak for the Paramount Chief of the area, Keteku III. Many people will be wondering what is a group of GaDangme doing in the Volta region, which is typically an Ewe community. I'm here to share with you how our forebears journeyed right from Pony in Egypt to our present settlement in the Volta region, known as Agotime. Historically, our forebears are believed to have migrated from Pony in Egypt through southern Sudan. We are called the Lens or the Agotimes. We are traditionally a GaDangme people. We traveled from the Nue clan in ancient Sudan through to Ile-Ife in Nigeria. From Ile-Ife in Nigeria, our forefathers moved in very small boats through the Gulf of Guinea to the Republic of Ghana around 1300 to 1400 AD. We are believed to have been among the very first people that settled in the Ada, Osudoku, and Bong areas in the present Greater Accra region of Ghana. When our forebears arrived in Bong and the Ada estuaries, they found the land to be very rich in salt. And being very crafty and very smart people, they concocted a story which suggests that they have a god, and this god is the one that produces the salt for the lagoon. Why do I say this? Till today, our stool, or the stool of the Paramount Chief of the chiefs and people of Agotime, is called Inchirifua, and Inchirifua simply means the salt giver. For a couple of years, estimated to be almost 150 years, our forefathers exploited this mystical story by mining the salt and asking all people who mine the salt to pay royalties to their Inchirifua stool. As our forebears got richer and richer, the other communities became more aware and noticed that after all, possibly, the god that we served at the time, called Inchirifua, may not have been the true provider of the salt in the lagoon. This triggered some misunderstandings between the people. Wars were fought, and our forefathers journeyed further to where the present University of Ghana, Legon, is. Legon, as you would know, is called Hill, or the Hill of the Lens, or the Land people. Our forefathers stayed in Legon for a while. Being people who are adventurous, they journeyed further through the present eastern region of Ghana, and they passed through other communities such as the Manya and the Yilos, or the Krobos, where they stayed briefly and journeyed through to the Volta region. One thing that is significant for viewers to note is that in Ghana there are just 3 konos, which konos simply mean an overlord of an area. We have the overlord, or the kono for the Yilo Krobos, and then the Manya Krobos have their konos. And the Agotimes also have their kono, or their overlord, who is called Keteku III, who sits on the Inchirifua stool. From the eastern region, our forebears moved and stopped over briefly at Avatime, also in the Volta region, and journeyed further to our present abode or home, which is called Agotime. When we first arrived in Agotime, or when we first arrived in the area, we noticed that the best part of the area was a river Toje, which was settled in between the Agu Mountains and the Adaklu Mountains. And we thought it wise that in order for us to do proper irrigation to grow cotton, which we carried seeds from along our journey through the Sahel region, we decided to settle near the river so we can do irrigation in order to grow cotton. So we settled first in Agotime, and from Agotime we spread to our present communities. The chiefs and people of Agotime, as I alluded to, are naturally GaDangme people, though we are settled in the Volta region. What are the signs and indications that we are GaDangme people? If you go to our first settlement, which is called Agotime, it will surprise you to note that the culture which our forebears had is still intact and undiluted. In Agotime, for example, they still perform the typical depot rite for maidens. And so in Agotime, depot is still performed for young maidens as part of our culture and tradition. Our names also reflect our true identity as GaDangme people. Our chiefs are called the Nenes or Nene, which is like Togbi in the Ewe language. And our queen mothers are called Manyes. And anyone who is familiar with the GaDangme people would recognize that these are true titles of kings and queens within the GaDangme culture and tradition. Not only that, our language reflects our identity. And as such, in Agotime and other communities of Agotime, such as Bajahon, among others, they still speak the GaDangme language. And so our language is a true reflection of our identity and as well as a title of our kings and queens. And also our cultural rites, such as depot, which is performed till date in Agotime and other communities of Agotime. To also draw the attention of viewers to our identity, if you watch, Persian carpets are typically carpets that are woven in regions that have cotton. And in Egypt, where our forebears migrated from, you will notice the quality of their weaving. And whilst we were in Egypt, our forebears picked these very important skills of weaving. And you will notice that cotton is usually grown in Sahel regions, such as Sudan, where our forebears lived, such as in Egypt, down Mali, through the northern part of Nigeria, where our forefathers also journeyed. Along the routes that we traveled, we developed the act of weaving. In present form, that weaving, which in Ewe, which they call agbamevon, or the cloth that is woven in the loom, this act has stayed with our forebears over time. My point of emphasis is that cotton is a critical input, or the yarn is a critical input for the weaving of Kente, for which we, the people of Agotime, are noted for. Kente undoubtedly is Ghana's most identifiable symbol, and two prominent communities in Ghana are noted for the weaving of Kente. One is Agotime, Petwe in the Volta region, and the other is Bonre in Ashanti. Whilst our forebears settled in the Volta region, we fought a number of wars. We fought with the Akamus, we fought with the Ashantis, among others. During these struggles and these war times, unfortunately, great warriors as we were, some of our forebears were captured into captivity. And so whilst they were in captivity, they tried to make a living. In the act of making their living, they resorted to their old-time trade, which is Kente weaving. And whilst their Kente weaving business boomed, other people also wanted to learn about the craft. In that form of captivity, our forebears were compelled to share the knowledge or the skill of Kente weaving. And so they had to instruct, or they had to teach the act of Kente weaving through the Ewe language. And so because they couldn't speak other languages too well, they asked those they were instructing or teaching to open the warp. Open means K, so that's an instruction. They say K means open the warp and put the thread through it, and Te means that hit the warp so that the thread could be firmed. This is typically the act of Kente weaving. And so our forebears, through the instruction, asked that open the warp, close it, K, not Te. And that word literally translates to modern times to reflect Kente. Kente is a word which has been in some contention in the sense that other tribes believed that Kente means basket, but in the Ewe language, Kente means Ke, Nate, or open the warp and close it.